Okay, we are rolling. Okay, so hi everyone. If you're a volunteer, welcome to the CaYPT. So pretty much what we're gonna do today is that we're going to show you roughly how the tournament works, how the room will look like, how the flow of each match will go, and also we will show you how to operate our scoring system. So let's get started. So as you can see, all right, I have to share my screen with you guys, right? Yeah. So this is actually part of one of our committee meetings. So we have Kaylee and Patrick both here, and then
Hello.
we will be showing them how to do this as well, I guess. Okay. So can you see my screen?
I
Yeah.
can see it.
Okay, cool. So first I'm going to draw out what the room layout will look like, I guess. So pretty much as you walk into the room, there's roughly gonna be these tables, right? One table is where one team is going to sit, the reporter. Well, excuse my bad handwriting. Another table is where the opponent will sit, and then in front of the room there will be a screen, and then there will be a projector that will be projecting the reporter's presentation or the opponent's presentation onto the screen. So where you will be at is there will be a table on the side, right? And then on this table, there will be a computer here, which will run our system. Okay, so you will be like right here. And around this table, there will be like 5 team members sitting around each table. And then behind them, there will be some other chairs, and that's where the jury will be. So this is like an idealized case, but not all of our rooms are set up exactly like this. So in most cases, in 3 of the rooms, what you're actually gonna see is that it's a lecture hall. So there's gonna be like rows and rows of seats, and then here it's gonna be a long table, okay, and then at the back there will be a screen as well. So you will be sitting on like one side of this long table. You will have like your chair here, and then here will be the computer that will be running the system. And similarly, like we're gonna have like the reporters sitting in one region, then they might occupy like 1 row or 2 rows, or well, and also we have the opponent sitting in this general area, and then behind there will be like jury. So if you're not like keeping track of the score, you will not be sitting in the front, so you will be sitting behind the jury as pretty much an audience. Okay, so this is pretty much how the room will look like. Next, I'll show you a bit about how the flow of every single match will go. So essentially, I'm going to switch back to this view because I think that's a little bit clearer. So essentially, when the match first starts, right, we're going to have one person from the opposition team. What they're going to do, they're going to challenge the reporting team on one of the 5 CaYPT problems. Okay, so if you want to know what the problems are, a list of it can be found on our website. So pretty much one person from the opposition team is just going to go like, well, I challenge the reporting team on problem A, and then say whatever the name of that problem is. And then what happens is that the reporting team will have some time, about like a minute or so, to decide whether or not they want to accept or reject the problem. So they can either accept or they can reject. Okay. So if the reporting team rejects, let's talk about this case first. If the reporting team decides to reject, what's going to happen is that the opponent will have to challenge another problem. So if there are 5 problems, if one is rejected, they have the option of choosing from the other 4. Okay, and if right the reporting team accepts, right, then the reporting team will have a bit of time to prepare their presentation. That's around about like 5 minutes or so. So there's a bit of a tricky part to this particular stage, and that is as the competition progresses, right, the opponent doesn't have the option to challenge every single one of the 5, right? For example, if 2 teams face, right, if I have like team A and team B, if team B is the opponent, there are a few like restrictions to which problem the opponent can challenge. So essentially, the opponent can challenge all the problems with the exception of first, it is what the reporting team have rejected before, and second is what the reporting team have presented before. Third is what the opposition team have opposed before, and fourth is what the opposition team have presented before. So all of these information can be found in our rules and regulations. Let me just pull up this tab. If we go to, I think, rules of problem, challenge, and rejection, you can see all of these 4 rules. So these are what we call the bans, right? And so the rule says if there are less than 2 problems left to challenge, the bans are removed in the order of like D, C, B, A. So as a volunteer, you don't have to be too concerned with which problems the teams are allowed to challenge. We will be giving you something called a ban sheet. Okay, so we will be telling you which problem the opposition team can challenge, and if there are less than 2, which other problems will be opened up. So you don't have to do any sort of calculation on your own. We will handle that, and you pretty much just have to follow the procedure that is given to you on that ban sheet. Okay. So that being said, we can move on to what happens when the reporting team accepts, right? So after the reporting team accepts, what's going to happen is that they're going to go up stage, right? They're going to go up stage. They're going to have a 12-minute presentation, okay, about whatever like problem they did. Afterwards, the opposition has a bit of time to ask some clarification questions to the reporter. After that, the opposition team will have a bit of time to prep their own presentation. After that, the opposition team, like one of the person from the opposition team will actually go up, present something of their own that is sort of like that is sort of made based on the reporter's presentation. So they will be saying like, oh, your problem, like your solution is good in this way and it might need some improvement here and things like that. This will take roughly 4 minutes. After this, right, they go into a discussion. So this is what you would call like the debate part, or like I guess the fight part, or as we call it, like the discussion phase. So they're going to be talking about the problem and so on and so forth for about like 10 minutes. After that, the opponent does like a short concluding remark, and then the reporter does a short concluding remark, and then the jury will ask both sides some questions for them to like grade them. This is essentially how the flow of it will work. And your job as a volunteer is to operate the computer, which will have like a timing software on it. And pretty much all you have to do is like click next. Okay, and then there will be a timer. There will be like a clock showing for both the reporter and the opponent. And what's going to happen is that they're going to be able to see the clock and pretty much see like how much time they have. So it is better for them to do their time management. And at the end, after all of the jurors have recorded their scores, they have filled out their score sheet. What you have to do is that you essentially just have to like enter in the score into our system. So how that's going to work is that you will be receiving a score sheet that looks something like this. Okay, so as you can see, there are like 2 sections that you have to be concerned with. You don't have to be concerned with the reviewer part. So on top is the reporter, and on the bottom is the opponent. So pretty much the juror is going to circle a bunch of things here, and then they're going to write what's called their partial score in these boxes. And you're going to see something very similar on your screen for every single juror. And then you essentially just have to look at the sheet and put the numbers in. And there's something that I have to warn you here. So this last number here is a subtraction. So when you actually enter in the score, you have to make sure that it is a negative number here. So I'll be showing you how the system looks as the screen pops up. Okay. So I guess that is pretty much this is pretty much what you're gonna see on the day of. And yeah, so Patrick, are you saying?
Oh, we just can't see it in the call. I don't know if
Oh,
you're
you can't see.
recording.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I am. But okay.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so
Okay, that's
Oh
fine.
yeah, I can't see it either, but it's fine.
Okay. So I think I'm presenting on like a window mode to you
Oh,
guys, but I'm
okay.
recording on like a full screen mode for the.
Oh,
I guess
gotcha.
that's
Oh, okay,
fine.
that's
Never
fine.
mind.
Yeah.
Sorry, volunteers.
Okay, let me just I think I might want to actually switch that. If I show my entire screen. Oh. Okay, now you guys can see it, right?
Yeah, no.
Just says
Oh,
just
yeah.
says it's okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. Cool. So now this is pretty much all the information that you guys, the volunteers, will have to know. And now I will show you a little bit about how our system works. Okay. Let me just pull up our system right here. So this is the home page. Okay. Hopefully the graphics will look the same as well. But essentially, you will be given an account. Okay. You will be logging into it. So since we are the organizing committee, our account is called Super. Gives us a lot of power, of course. Okay, so we'll just log in. So essentially what's going to happen with this system is that the system has all of the information of the teams, the jurors, and the volunteers. Essentially what it does is that first, at the beginning of the day, during the opening ceremony, we're going to create a plan, right, for everyone to like go to what rooms and whatnot. So if we go to the planning section, I think we will just start here and make a plan. So there are 8 teams. There are 4 rooms and such and such. Okay. We'll just generate the plan. And juror chairs total number is not matching the total number of rooms. Cool. Okay, so I guess I'll just be showing you guys the back end. Okay, so I have to assign some of them as jurors first. Okay, you're a chair, and then okay, so maybe I'm showing you a bit too much information, but whatever. Let's see who else can be a chair. Where's okay, you can be a chair. So I need 4 rooms, so I need 4 chairs. Okay, you can be a chair, I guess. And then okay, you can be a chair. Okay, let's try that again. So super admin, planning. Sorry about this. Hopefully this will work. Generate plan. Okay, so here's our plan. Okay. Well, of course, this is not going to be the actual plan of the day, but essentially this is just a test for me to show you guys how everything works. So at the top here, there is going to be a team plan. These are the teams. These are going to be the rounds, and then how they match up. And then here's the room plan, volunteer assignment plan, and things like that. So I think I'll just. Do you want to save this? Yes, I'll save the plan. And this is plan 1 proposed. And then here I could think download a copy of like pretty much how the plan works. Yeah, so this will be all of the teams will have their information here, and then yeah. And so now we're ready to accept and activate the plan. So this plan is activated. I think we can release. Okay. Okay, publish. Are you sure? Yes, I am sure. Okay, so now the plan is published. Okay, so now I think we could go into the volunteering part. So I think. Oh. Okay, you see, I'm also trying to navigate the system myself. I might just cut this part out, but okay, so this is the screen that you're gonna see. Okay, so pretty much you have to know which room you're gonna be in. So there will be like 4 rooms, A, B, C, and D. So pretty much what you want to do is you pick. Let's say you're in room A. You just pick this, click submit, and then you see this room in round number 1 is Team Mustang versus Team MGCL. So if you're in the time for round 1, you just click round 1. Okay, go into it. And then you have to select which jurors are available here. So let's just say all 4 of these jurors are here. And then we're going to add another juror that is not pre-scheduled or something like that. Okay. And then here, team 1 and team 2, you're just going to select whichever team is going to be reporting first. Okay. And we're going to click submit. Are you sure? Well, a very important thing is do not use the back button on your browser. Otherwise, this whole thing will break. Okay. And then, like, it's very bad. So just don't use the back button. Click OK. And then now you're ready to start timing, essentially. So you go into stage 1. Okay. So, because every single physics match is divided into stage 1 and stage 2. And essentially you're just going to be picking stage 1 when that time comes, and then after stage 1 you can pick stage 2. Okay, so now you're ready to select who is the team member. Okay, so you can select, these are the people from the team. Let's say Nick is the reporter, and let's say Kelly is the opponent. Right? You click submit. Do not use the back button. Are you sure? Yes. So this is the timing sort of interface right here. So essentially, what you have to do is that you have to pick proposed problem. This is the stage. Okay, this is the stage. This is the 1 minute of time when the opponent can challenge the reporter. Okay, so let's just say Kelly goes on stage and challenges Nick on problem D, falling tower. And then submit. And then let's say Nick says, well, I want to reject the problem. Okay, so you click reject. And then, well, Kelly has the option of challenging another problem. You can propose another problem. Let's say she said, I want to challenge from B, Sweet Mirage. Click this, and then click submit. And now let's just say, so this is the time runs, the reporter has some time to decide. And the reporter can say, well, yes, now I accept. Okay. And now the round starts. You can click start, and this is the time for the reporter to prep, 5 minutes. And after this time has passed, you're just going to click next phase, go into the next phase. Now the reporter goes on stage. It says like presentation of the reporter. So the reporter goes on stage and he or she will present. After the presentation is over, we're going to go into next phase. And then now the opponent has 2 minutes to ask clarification questions, essentially. So question of the opponent to the reporter and answer of the reporter. Next phase, 3 minutes preparation for the opponent. So this is when the opponent prepares their slides and whatever. Next phase, 4 minutes for the opponent to take the floor. Okay, so this is when the opponent essentially talks about what are the strengths and weaknesses of the reporter's presentation. And click next phase. Okay. And this is the discussion between the reporter and the opponent. Okay. And next phase, we have the opponent summarizes the discussion. So like goes like, well, we have talked about this and this and this during the discussion. This will have 1 minute of time. Next phase, the reporter says his or her concluding remark. There's 2 minutes for that. Okay. And the next phase is the jury question. Like, as a volunteer, I guess you don't want to tell the juror how much time they have, right? So this is just a rough guide for them. But like don't like stop them if they haven't like finished asking their questions. But just kindly remind them, right? Like, you don't want to be taking too long because otherwise we're going to run behind on our schedule. And then after they ask their question and the reporter and the opponent both answer and stuff, click done. Is the stage finished? Yes, it is. This is where you're going to be giving them like entering in the score, right? So after you collect the score sheet, right? The score sheet has some information onto it. So the juror will write their name, and then their name should match the names that you have entered in before. Okay, so like before you enter in these, please check with them to make sure you know what their name are. And you see on the reporter, there are like 2 boxes with a plus and 1 box with a minus. So what you can do is just go like, well, you know, for this box, they filled in 3. For this box, they filled in 2. And then for this minus, let's say they filled in 1, right? These you can only enter integers, right? And then if you just hover over it, you can see what sort of range they should be getting, right? If you enter a number that is outside the range, it will tell you there is a mistake, right? And if you just want to check, you can click this equals and it will show you a sum. And this sum should match up with what you see at the end here. So this is like all of these partial scores added up. This is the number that you should get. Okay, so you do that for everyone. So we're just gonna like make up some like random scores right here. Okay, 5, 3, 5, 2, and 3, I guess. And here we go like 0, -1, -1, -2, something like that. Huh. Okay, so there's something that you want to make note of is that in this last one, you can only fill in like -2 to 0. But just for the sake of testing, right, we can just like fill in a positive number. We can have a look. So let me just fill in all of these with random numbers here. And so you see here, if the numbers are positive, when you click submit, you go like, and then it will tell you, right? It will be less than e equal to 0. So instead of a positive 1, you want to write -1. So these are all fine. These are all fine. And for this one, if you again make a mistake or something, the system will check that for you, hopefully. And then here, we'll just put a -2. And then you click submit. Are you sure? Yes. And then if everything matches up, then we're done. Okay, so that's one round. So now if you're still in room A, you can still click, well, I am in room A. But you see, for round 1, now you can only click stage 2. Okay, so you click stage 2, you do this whole thing, and then this whole process will repeat. Okay? So essentially what you just have to be careful of is that, sure, we can put in these people here. What you have to be careful of is that when the opponent clicks, like goes, I want to propose this problem, right? You just have to look at the ban sheet, right, and figure out which problems they can actually propose, right? So the teams are going to get to see this as well. So they will know which problem to challenge, but just make sure that the one that you check in here is actually a problem that is allowed. Okay, so that is essentially how everything works. And unfortunately, I think at this point we sort of have to not any problems. Please start accept one. Oh, so if you didn't accept or reject, and you go to the next phase, it will just tell you to go back, so you can just click the previous phase, and then it will just work. And oh, okay. I guess this is already proposed. Okay, so I guess this also helped us test the system as well, see if any like dumb things can be done. But you can just go through the phases, and that's essentially your job. Okay, so for everyone that is not going to be in the room, you're either going to be assigned to like watch some of these matches, or we have some other duties for you. You could be like delivering the band sheet to the rooms, or you could be helping us set up lunch and things like that. Okay, so hopefully this is clear. Hopefully you're able to understand sort of how the whole thing works. If you don't understand how the tournament structure goes, you can go to this page, CaYPT 2020 Rules and Regulations. You can read all about it if you're interested. But in case you find a problem that you couldn't resolve, right, you should first go to the juror, the chair juror in your room, right? And if they're unsure of what to do, just come and talk to us, right? We'll be able to solve the problem for you. Okay, so just some key things to remember. Just always double check before you click submit or enter or whatever. And don't use the back button because that will mess things up. Okay. Katie, do you have anything to add to this?
No, not so far.
Okay, so hopefully the system looks easy to use, I guess. And yeah, so I'll see you at the competition then. So I could stop recording now.